Good midnight, NWS Revolution members and viewers, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Galli, and I am your play-by-play commentator for Revolution Impact and NWS Revolution pay-per-views. Allow me to introduce my broadcast colleague, everybody's favorite color commentator, Dan Lambert. The great Dan Lambert. Please introduce yourself, good sir. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan Lambert. I am the owner of American Top Team, and I'm also the color commentator for NWS Revolution Impact and NWS Revolution pay-per-views. And what a great NWS Revolution did we have. Congratulations to four-time Revolution Rumble winner, the General Jerry. He deserved it. I gotta say, I agree with Michael, with NWS President Talent Relations, Michael Cole, when he says this was indeed the greatest NWS Revolution of all time, if not the greatest NWS Revolution Rumble of all time. What's gonna happen at RevolutionMania 7? But anyway, the first match was for the NWS Tag Team titles. New NWS Tag Team champions, Rob and Jacob McGovern, father and son, defended the NWS Tag Team championships against none other than the Young Bucks. Take it away, Joe Galli, my man. Thank you, Dan Lambert. This was a good back and forth match, and congratulations to father and son, Robert Jacob McGovern, on capturing the NWS Tag Team Champions. They are now two-time NWS Tag Team Champions. Out came the Young Bucks, accompanied by Don Callis, and then came up the new NWS Tag Team Champions, Robert Jacob McGovern. But before we get started the match, both me and Dan Lambert welcome the fans back to the Madison Square Garden in New York City. And now as we get to the end of this Tag Team Championship match, out, as I said, out came the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and then came out the new NWS Tag Team Champions, Rob and Jacob McGovern. As this match got underway, this was a good back and forth match. A lot of good technical tag team match. Lots of good back and forth wrestling with tag team wrestling move after tag team wrestling move, body slams, scoop slams, big boots from both teams. Your Young Bucks dropped Robert Jacob McGovern to bang your buck. Went to pin it, but Robert Jacob McGovern got a shoulder up as Robert McGovern gave Matt and Nick Jackson 16 suplexes, locked them in a Kimura, but they refused to submit. And then Robert McGovern delivered an F5 to both the Young Bucks as Jacob McGovern delivered a big boot, scoop slam, body avalanche, gut punch, swinging neckbreaker, and then delivered the Southampton's plunge and a Swanton bomb, and then Robert Jacob McGovern delivered a devastating 3D to both the Young Bucks and pinned them 1, 2, 3, and still NWS Tag Team Champions Robert Jacob McGovern, as this match lasted the 12 minutes and 15 seconds. That was a good match. Now the question is, who's going to be the next contenders for Robert Jacob McGovern? Will former NWS Tag Team Champions Devin the Demon Legion invoke their rematch clause? Will be former NWS Tag Team Champions Zed and Santos like King X and JJ? Who indeed will be the next #1 contenders for the McGovern's tag team titles? What do you say, Dan Lambert? Who do you think will be the next #1 contenders? That is a very good question, Joe Galli. I don't know. No. Will there be a #1 contender tag team title match? I just got word from Scott, the MW's Revolution owner, chairman, and CEO, as next week on Revolution Impact, we will have a tag team battle royal. And whoever wins the tag team battle royal next week on Revolution Impact will indeed be the #1 contenders to Robert Jacob McGovern's tag team titles, and they will face them for the tag team titles at the Revolution Chambers pay-per-view. So that should be a very interesting match. And then we got footage from earlier today of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, taking NWS Revolution owner, chairman, and CEO Scott Casey Gale, also known as Scotty Badbones, NWS General Manager World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer, the Sons of Chaos, NWS Universal Champion Psycho Mercer, the Sons of Chaos and Elite Leadership Doctors, and the American Mercenaries on a tour of New York City, baby. That's right. New York City. As they arrived in New York City, they got off their electric. Jet and Donald Trump, and then we got up there, and Donald Trump booked them at his very own hotel in New York City called Trump International. That's right, Trump International. And Donald Trump paid for all the hotel suites, took them out to a nice big breakfast in New York City. And where did he take them to? Also, Donald Trump. Hold on a second. As Donald Trump was booking, as Donald Trump was booking the hotel reservations and the hotel suites, he took them out to a nice big breakfast. It was at Andrews at Baton NYC, Baton, New York City, where Scott Casey Gale had some delicious scrambled eggs with toasted hash browns and pancakes, and Donald Trump ate a big breakfast, all kinds of eggs, pancakes. Cody Mercer, some Psycho Mercer, they had pancakes as well. And Donald Trump paid for breakfast. And then after the breakfast, Donald Trump took Scotty Badbones and the crew on a tour of New York City. And then he took them out to lunch. At Las Tacos. That's right. Las Tacos with Scotty Badbones and the Mercers and the Sons of Chaos and the American Mercenaries and Illusion Doctors had a wonderful, amazing lunch. Scott, Casey, Gail, they all ate tacos, and they were one of the best tacos they ever had in New York City. And then and then me and Joe Galli complimented on how great of a tour that was. As we get to the next match, which was an NWS Universal Championship Elimination Chamber qualifying match, as former NWS World Heavyweight Champion, Credence Xavier Reed took on one half of the former NWS Tag Team Champions Lion King X. As Lion King X was accompanied by Don Tuss. As the match got underway, and Credence Xavier Reed and Lion King X was a back and forth move up the wrestling move, submission after submission. As Credence Xavier Reed hit Lion King X for DDT, a baseball slide, a backbreaker, a neckbreaker, a flying elbow, a suicide dive. Lion King X and low blow Credence Xavier Reed speared him down. Then gave him a jackhammer, went to pin him, but Credence Xavier Reed kicked out at 2, and then just gave an airplane spin to Lion King X, slammed his head and out for turnbuckles, chopped him in the chest, and delivered the Credence dive and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Winner of the match. That's Credence Xavier Reed via pinfall, as with Credence dive. As this match lasted 10 minutes, and Credence Xavier Reed has now qualified to compete for the Universal Championship and an elimination champion match for Psycho versus Universal Championship. So that should be a good match. So congratulations to Credence Xavier Reed on being one of the #1 contenders for Psycho versus Universal Championship match. That should be a very good, interesting elimination champ match. What do you say, Joe Galli? I completely agree with you, Dan Lambert, and I am looking for the calling that Revolution Chamber match with you as we got to the next match. And it was another NWS Universal Championship qualifying match, as former NWS World Heavyweight Champion the Bloka took on one half of the former NWS Tag Team Champions JJ, as he was accompanied by Dom Callis. The Bloka got a huge pop in the New York crowd, as both him and JJ just beat the holy hell out of each other. They traded blows back and forth. The Bloka V triggers JJ, gives him a double axe handle, a leg drop. JJ gets a schoolboy pin, but the Bloka kicks out at 2.5. As they continue to trade blows and hit each other with great body slams, baseball slides, a body avalanche. JJ then locks the Bloka in a Kimura lock, but the Bloka refuses to submit as he fights JJ up, locks him in a sharpshooter, then turns into a figure for a leg lock, and then locks him in a coquina clutch in the submission hold, but JJ does not submit as they continue to wrestle back and forth. Then the Bloka hits another V trigger on JJ and delivers the no laughing matter, pins him 1, 2, 3. Winner of the match. The Bloka via pinfall with no laughing matter. This match lasted 11 minutes and 8 seconds, and now the Bloka is the second good person who's the second contender for the Revolution elimination chamber match for Psycho versus Universal Championship. So now Psycho Buster will be defending his Universal Championship against Curtis Xavier Reed and the Bloker. And who are going to be the other 4 other opponents? We will find it out soon enough. But that was a good match. And then we got more of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, taking Scotty Bad Bones, the Mercers, the Elite Regions, about the Sons of Chaos, and American Mercenaries on more tours of New York City, and they took them out to dinner at the Korean Steakhouse. That's right, the Korean Steakhouse, where Scotty Balvers and them had all kinds of steaks, and Donald Trump, of course, paid for the meal. And then there was footage of Scotty Bad Bones and the crew arriving at the NWS at the Madison Square Garden. As Scotty Bad Bones said, he's got business to take care of. That's why he is not wrestling tonight, but he will be wrestling next week. And then we get to the 4th match. It was for both for Johnny DeVinci's and there was Intercontinental Championship and his United States Championship as he defended against Impact Wrestling's Trey Miguel. So out came Trey Miguel first, and then out came Johnny DeVinci. As this match got underway, and there was footage from earlier today where the board of directors, board of directors Vice President Lincoln Potter and there was board of directors President Ethan Zobel and Josh Matthews had a meeting and decided to let Johnny DeVinci keep both the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. Because they said Johnny DeVinci is doing wonders with the both titles, and he's bringing resiliency and respect back into them. So they decided. So instead of Johnny DeVinci relinquishing them, they decided to let him keep both titles, which I think is great. So then, as I said, out came Impact Wrestling's Trey Miguel, and then out came Johnny DeVinci. See, as this match got underway, Johnny DeVinci, of course, body slammed Trey Miguel as they wrestled back and forth with submission after submission, wrestling move after wrestling move, and of course, Trey Miguel hit Johnny DeVinci with a signature move such as the sliding trip, the cheeky Nano super kick, the tiger feint into a hurricane rana to the floor, and delivered the Yoshi Tonic and the Meteora. Went to pin him, but Johnny DeVinci got a shoulder up and fought Trey Miguel off. Johnny DeVinci, of course, delivered a couple of elbow strikes to Trey Miguel and a super kick and delivered an X Factor and even delivered a couple of suplexes off the top turnbuckle. Went to pin Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel kicked it at 2.5. As they continued, as this match lasted 10 more minutes, I mean, Trey Miguel delivered another Meteora to Johnny DeVinci. Went to pin him, but Johnny DeVinci kicked out at 2.5. Johnny Da Vinci then delivered a flying headbutt to Trey Miguel in the middle of the ring, and then delivered a double arm DDT to Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel dropped Johnny Da Vinci with 3 more meteoras, but it was not enough to pin them. And in the end, Johnny Da Vinci delivered a death sentence to Trey Miguel and pinned him 1-2-3. Winner of the match is still NWS Intercontinental and United States Champion Johnny Da Vinci via pinfall with death sentence, as this match lasted 16 minutes. That's right, 16 minutes and 17 seconds. Johnny Da Vinci is doing wonders with both the championships, and Johnny Da Vinci then got in the mic, and he said he just got done talking to General Manager Cody Mercer. Johnny Da Vinci will be competing in a Revolution Chamber qualifying match, and whoever wins that Revolution Chamber match will indeed be facing Psycho Mercer for the Universal Championship at RevolutionMania 7. So the 5 other opponents for the Revolution Chamber qualifying match will be announced next week on Revolution Impact by NWS Revolution owner, chairman, and CEO Scotty Badbones. And like I said, I truly do think that 2023 is going to be the year of Johnny Da Vinci. And then Rob McGovern came on and said and challenged Johnny Da Vinci for both his Intercontinental Championship and United States Championship. Says even though that they were supposed to wrestle tonight, they decided to hold that match off into Revolution Chamber. Rob McGovern says that since Johnny Da Vinci thinks 2023 is going to be his year, Rob McGovern says, and how about next week on Revolution Impact, Johnny Da Vinci be a man and defend both his Intercontinental Championship, United States Championship against him next week on Revolution Impact. Johnny Da Vinci got on the mic and says that he accepts him next week on Revolution Impact. Johnny Da Vinci will defend both his Intercontinental Championship and United States Championship against Rob McGovern next week on Revolution Impact. So that should be a good match. And of course, I think that Johnny Da Vinci is going to win because he's undefeated. Now it was match number 5. It was Returning the Fox as he took on the poster boy, the franchise, John Cena. John Cena was covered by 46% Joe Biden. So John Cena came up first, and then out came the Fox. Formerly known, I don't know if it's the one that was. I remember the Fox. Now is he Hellhound? Is he Happy Hound? Apparently he's calling himself the Fox now. The question is, but anyway, take it away, Dan Lambert, and welcome back the Fox. Thank you, Joe Galli. This was indeed match number 5 as the Fox and John Cena wrestled back and forth. The Fox started beating the holy hell out of John Cena, chopped him in the chest, slapping his head out for turnbuckles, choked John Cena with the ring ropes, but gave him several hard punches and kicks, and an Irish whip, and a Mission Oaken driver, and a Mission Oaken driver 2. The Fox was just beating the holy hell out of John Cena. That was until John Cena decided to fight back, and he fought off the Fox and immediately locked him in the STF, but the Fox refused to submit. John Cena then gave the Fox several punches. And John Cena then hit the Fox with his signature moves such as, but then the Fox fought John Cena off and just delivered another Mission Oaken driver and and then delivered elbow strikes and elbow drops to John Cena. The Fox is just kicking the crap out of John Cena in this match. And then John Cena low blowed the Fox. Fox hit him with a signature move such as the diving leg drop bulldog, diving crossbody, half Nelson into a neckbreaker, 5-knuckle shuffle, Lufez press, warning leaping shoulder block, throwback, drop kick, warning 100 bulldog, sit out hip toss, monkey flip, hurricane water, elbow Thorson. And then delivered, locked him in the STF, but the Fox refused to submit. John Cena hit a stunner on the Fox, but the Fox got his shoulder up. John Cena then dropped the Fox with the attitude adjustment. Went to finish, but somehow, somebody, the Fox kicked out at 2.5, and the Fox just clawed John Cena in the face and gave him a claw slam. That's a claw slam and a Death Valley driver. And then delivered a power bomb to John Cena and a power slam in the middle of the ring to John Cena. Joe Biden got on the ring apron and waked up the Fox in the eye, allowing John Cena to hit another attitude adjustment, but somehow, some way, the Fox kicked out at 2.5 and just clawed John Cena more. He was beating the holy crap out of John Cena. And then the Fox delivered a Fox slam to John Cena and a Fox driver. And then delivered the Doomsday device to John Cena and pinned the 1-2-3. Winner of the match, the Fox, via pinfall with the Doomsday device, as this match lasted 17 minutes and 15 seconds. Welcome back, the Fox. It is good to have you back in the NWS Revolution. And then out of nowhere, Joe Biden, then Biden kicked the Fox and BKO'd him. And Joe Biden started talking trash to the Fox. And Joe Biden said next week, he tells the Fox that he has to be in a handicap match against former NWS Tag Team Champions Lion King X and JJ. And the Fox got up, got in the mic and called Joe Biden an 80-year-old bastard with dementia. He says that Joe Biden made a big mistake, Biden kicking him and BKO'd him. And the Fox said he'll be more than happy to take on Lion King X and JJ in a handicap match. So, you got your match. And then Joe Biden says one of these days he's going to take on the Fox and he's going to beat the crap out of the Fox. But he has to go for other NWS, but he has to go for the other NWS Avengers first in order to get a match with him. And the Fox just laughed and said, why would he waste his time wrestling an old man who can't even complete a sentence? Joe Biden says, oh, he'll show him. He'll show him next week. Because he will be watching as Lion King X and JJ decimate the Fox. And the Fox just snapped at everything Joe Biden was saying. But anyway, that was a great match. And once again, welcome back, the Fox. Now, will we see him? Now, will we see Hellhound? Will we see Happy Hound? Will we see the Ministry of Joy? Will they make their triumphant return? I remember the Ministry of Joy days. If I may give advice to the Fox, if you do bring back the Ministry of Joy, if Hellhound and Happy Hound do come back, then I personally would love to see the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, get corrected. Because Joe Biden definitely needs to get corrected. And the 49th Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, she needs to get corrected. Michael Rappaport needs to get corrected. Don Callis and Paul Heyman need to get corrected. Every member of the NWS just need to be corrected. It'll be very funny and hilarious to see Joe Biden and be the one to get corrected the most. In my opinion, Joe Biden needs to get corrected the most. But anyway, great match. And the next match was a gauntlet match as Billy Joe took on the Bloodline. Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns. And Jay Uso was nowhere to be found. So the first contender was Solo Sikoa. So Solo Sikoa, so Paul Heyman accompanied the Bloodline at ringside, and Solo Sikoa was the first to get in the ring. And then Billy Joe came out to a huge standing ovation, welcome back chants from the New York crowd. So the match gets underway, and Solo Sikoa and Billy Joe beat the holy hell out of each other. Billy Joe wastes no time spearing down Solo Sikoa as he gives them several punches, and several scoop slams and a Hurricane Rana and a leaping bullfrog, a running knee, a baseball slide, and then Solo Sikoa fights Billy Joe up with a Samoan spike, shades of the late Omega, a Sabate kick, a running hip attack, a headbutt drop, a Samoan drop, a flying spinning heel kick, a running senton, and delivers a Samoan splash, and spinning Solo goes to pin him, but Billy Joe kicks out at 2.5, and then he choke slams Solo Sikoa and delivers a spinning powerbomb to him and pins him 1, 2, 3. Winner of the match, Billy Joe via pinfall with chokeslam and spinning powerbomb, as this match lasted 14 minutes and 11 seconds. And now it was next match, and it was Jay Uso. That's right. I'm not Jay Uso. I meant Jimmy Uso, because Jay Uso was nowhere to be found. So it was Jimmy Uso it was Jimmy Uso as Jimmy Uso and Billy Joe trade blows back and forth. Billy Joe's just beating the crap out of Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso fights Billy Joe up with a full Nelson bomb and a leaping shoulder block. Super kicks him and splashes him. Goes to pin him, but Billy Joe gets a shoulder up. And Billy Joe just hits several signature moves on Jimmy Uso, delivers a choke slam and spinning powerbomb and pins him 1, 2, 3. Winner of the match, Billy Joe via pinfall with choke slam and spinning powerbomb. And then it was the final gauntlet match. It was Billy Joe taking on the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns. As Roman Reigns attacked Billy Joe from behind, low blowed him, and was just beating down Billy Joe as the fans were booing. Roman Reigns was just going crazy in the match. and Roman Reigns hit Vinny Joe with signature moves such as the corner clothesline, leaping clothesline, Samoan drop, scoop power slam, shoulder block, Nigeria driver, short arm lariat, single arm DDT, drive by, Superman punch, and a spear. Went to pin him, but Vinny Joe got a shoulder up, and then Roman Reigns dropped Vinny Joe the moment of silence, which is a back suplex side slam, and that but went to pin him, but it was not enough to keep Vinny Joe down, as no matter how many times Roman Reigns tried, he cannot keep Vinny Joe down. Vinny Joe then gained his momentum back as he slapped Roman Reigns very hard, gave him chops to the chest, gave him several punches, and even gave him a flying elbow, and then gave him a jackknife powerbomb, and a Razor's Edge, shades of the late Scott Hall. Oh, and then gave him a power slam and a gut buster, and then Vinny Joe chokeslammed Roman Reigns and delivered a spinning powerbomb, and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Winner of the match, Vinny Joe via pinfall. This match lasted 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Wow, what a gauntlet match! Vinny Joe is back in the NWS Revolution, and he is now the official bodyguard and manager to the general manager, World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer, the NWS Revolution owner, chairman, CEO Scott Kisagale. He is the official manager bodyguard to the NWS Universal Champion Psycho Mercer, the Sons of Chaos, Elite Witches Doctors, and the American Mercenaries. Vinny Joe is back in the NWS Revolution, kicking ass and taking names. And then out came John Cena as Vinny Joe and John Cena then got into a huge brawl. They started beating the holy hell out of each other. John Cena then locked Vinny Joe in the STF and delivered an attitude adjustment to him, and then started laughing at him, and John Cena delivered 2 more attitude adjustments to Vinny Joe and said he got the last laugh, and then out came Tony Jr. II and the Intercontinental United States Champion Johnny Da Vinci, as they got in the fight with John Cena, and then all of a sudden a very angry Vinny Joe got up, speared John Cena down, started beating the holy hell out of him, low blowed him, slammed his head out out for turnbuckles, and chokeslammed John Cena, and delivered a spinning powerbomb, and security had to come back and hold Vinny Joe back. John Cena then got up, and security had to restrain him too, and so did the NWS roster. It was just crazy. Both John Cena and Vinny Joe had to be separated. And then out came NWS Revolution Chairman, owner, chairman, CEO Scott Kisagale, the general manager, World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer, the NWS President, Title Relations, Michael Cole, the NWS COO, Shane McMahon, and the NWS US creative director Triple H, and then Cody Mercer got on the mic and said he's had enough of them fighting back and forth. Him and Scotty Babins just got done talking, and they said, as of right now, until RevolutionMania, and then Scotty Babins and Cody Mercer made a decision. They said, as of right now, until RevolutionMania, both Vinny Joe and John Cena cannot lay their hands on each other until RevolutionMania. That's right. They cannot make no physical contact until RevolutionMania 7. When Cody Mercer says he hated doing this, but that's what he had to do, and Scotty Bad Bones agreed. And then Cody Mercer got in the mic and said, if they do touch each other, if they do touch each other in any way, shape, or form, then both of them will be suspended until RevolutionMania 7. So So both John Cena and Vinnie Joe agreed, so they cannot make any physical contact whatsoever until RevolutionMania, or they will be suspended indefinitely until RevolutionMania 7. So we should be so this is going to be a very interesting match at RevolutionMania 7. What's going to happen in the next coming weeks and next coming months? Will Vinnie Joe and John Cena keep to their promise and not make any physical contact? Only time will tell. And then we got to the co-main event. It was a pitch black match between the returning Mitchell between. It was a pitch black match between the World Heavyweight Champion and General Manager Cody Mercer and the returning Mitchell Mayette. So out came, and it was a non-title match. So out came Mitchell Mayette first to a mixed reaction, and out came Cody Mercer to a huge ovation from the fan. As this match got underway, and the lights were dim. The lights were dim. So then Cody Mercer and Mitchell Mayette just beat the holy hell out of each other. Mitchell Mayette powdered away on Cody Mercer, delivered a big boot. Cody Mercer fought Mitchell Mayette off. Cody Mercer then opened a can of whoop-ass on Mitchell Mayette, dropped him on a stack of diamonds, he caught a neck, stomped a mud hole in him, and walked it dry. Dry. Dry and delivered bench presses. Just Mitchell Mayette then jacked that problem. Cody Mercer went to pin him, but Cody Mercer got a shoulder up. Cody Mercer and then Mitchell Mayette got a candlestick and Singapore can just started beating Cody Mercer down with it. Cody Mercer then snatched the candlestick and Singapore cane away from Mitchell Mayette and just started beating him with it. And Cody Mercer got a steel chair and hit Mitchell Mayette on the head with it and hit him several times across the back. And then got a table and Cody Mercer delivered a powerbomb to Mitchell Mayette for the table, went to pin him, but Mitchell Mayette kicked out at 2.5. Mitchell Mayette and Cody Mercer just continued to wrestle back and forth. Cody Mercer delivered a Mercer stunner to Mitchell Mayette, and a tombstone power jumper went to pin him, but Mitchell Mayette had his foot on the rope. Cody Mercer delivered a Mercer footprint to Mitchell Mayette, but decided he was not done with him yet. And then Mitchell Mayette then waked Cody Mercer in the eyes, delivered another jackknife powerbomb to him, and the victory star jump went to pin Cody Mercer, but Cody Mercer had his foot on the rope. And then Cody Mercer delivered a Mercer footprint to Mitchell Mayette, went to pin him, but Mitchell Mayette has his foot on the rope. And this match is just going back, but it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. They're just beating the holy hell out of each other. Mitchell Mayette then breaks his sham. Mitchell Mayette then gets brass knuckles and starts pawing away on Cody Mercer, busting him wide open. As I bust him wide open. And then Cody Mercer delivers 3 more Mercer footprints to a Mitchell Mayette and just beats him several times with a steel chair and the steel steps as they continue to fight all around the ring. And Cody Mercer is about to deliver a Mercer footprint to Mitchell Mayette to finish him off, but Mitchell Mayette blocks it, and then delivers a jackknife powerbomb to Cody Mercer, and then delivers a victory star jump and pins him 1, 2, 3. Winner of the match, the pitch black match. Mitchell Maya via pinfall with jackknife powerbomb and victory starter. But Cody Buster is still the NWS World Heavyweight Champion. Mitchell Maya got on the mic and said that's just an example of what Cody Buster has in store for him at Revolution Chambers. And Mitchell Maya says he's going to take the World Heavyweight Championship off of Cody Buster at Revolution Chambers, and he will defend against General Jerry. This should be a very interesting match. What will Cody Buster say next week about his loss to the Pittsburgh Reds? How will Cody Buster react? And then it was the main event for the NWS Universal Championship. Psycho Buster defended his Universal Championship against the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, in the last man standing match. So out came the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, as he was accompanied by Paul Heyman and Don Callis, to tremendous boos from the New York crowd. And then out came Psycho Buster to huge cheers from the New York crowd as he was accompanied by Vinny Joe. The match got underway as out of nowhere, Joe Biden kicks and BKOs Psycho Buster as the referee counts. Psycho Buster gets up at 8. Psycho Buster then beats the holy hell out of Joe Biden, stomps the mud hole in him and walks it dry, drops down to stack them the cow's neck, opens a can of whoop ass on him, gives them bench presses, and then Psycho Buster psycho stutters Joe Biden, psycho bombs him and psycho busts him as the referee counts. Joe Biden gets up at 9. Joe Biden hits Psycho Buster very hard on the head with a steel chair as the referee counts. Psycho Buster gets up at 8.5. Cody Buster, Joe Biden, and gets a guitar and breaks it over the head of Psycho Buster, busts him wide open as the referee goes to count. But Psycho Buster gets up at 9.5. Psycho Buster then breaks a champagne bottle over the head of Joe Biden. The referee goes to count. Joe Biden gets up at 9.5. Joe Biden and Psycho Buster continue to beat the holy hell out of each other as both men are bleeding profusely. Joe Biden even hits Psycho Buster with his own stunner and his own psycho bomb, his own Psycho Buster. As the referee counts, Psycho Buster gets up at 9. Psycho Buster then hits Joe Biden on the head with a trash can and a trash can lid. Then gets brass knuckles and starts beating the holy hell out of Joe Biden. Psycho Buster and psycho stunts Joe Biden, psycho bombs Joe Biden, psycho Buster gets a glass table, lights, puts thumbtacks on it, lights it on fire, and then Psycho Buster delivers a Psycho Buster to Joe Biden, then Psycho bombs Joe Biden for the flaming glass table, and then gets another table and delivers a Psycho Buster for the table, and as the referee counts 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Winner of the match and still NWS Universal Champion Psycho Buster via last man standing. Wow, what a great main event. And then it was the contract signing between 2023 RevolutionMania winner General Jerry and NWS World Heavyweight Champion Psycho Buster. NWS President of Talent Relations Michael Cole came out to host this. Out came the 2023 RevolutionMania General Jerry first, and then out came the NWS World Heavyweight Champion Cody Buster. Cody Buster says he's not too happy about his loss to Mitchell Mayette in the pitch black match, but oh well, it's another day. He will get his revenge on Mitchell Mayette when he will win at Revolution Chamber. So then Michael Cole explains the rules. He shows the contract, and he says both men are allowed to speak. So General Jerry says he has the utmost respect for Cody Mercer. He says he's doing a great job as general manager, and he's doing a great job as World Heavyweight Champion. He says he feels bad it had to take Cody Mercer 8 years to win it. He feels bad at all those times Cody Mercer came very close to winning. He got screwed over, but Cody Mercer finally got his moment back. But he says, although he has a lot of respect for Cody Mercer, although he respects Cody Mercer as John Wentz World Heavyweight Champion, come RevolutionMania 7, he will finally take the World Heavyweight Championship off of him. Cody Mercer become a three-time NWS World Heavyweight Champion, and he's going to do everything in his power to win. As General Jerry signs the contract, Cody Mercer says he also has a whole lot of respect for General Jerry, but he will do everything in his power to walk out NWS RevolutionMania 7, still the NWS World Heavyweight Champion. Says may the best man win as Cody Mercer signs the contract, and he guarantees that he will defeat Mitchell Mayette at Revolution Chambers and defend his title against RevolutionMania 7. General Jerry gets on the mic and says he hopes that it happened because he's been waiting to face Cody Mercer so for 7 years. And Cody Mercer's made the best man win. Cody Mercer and General Jerry shake hands as Michael Cole says, "Yeah, you have it." But it's official. It will be Cody Mercer defending his World Heavyweight Championship against 2020 against 4-time Revolution Rumble winner General Jerry. Although it does say card subject to change. But Cody Mercer says he's got nothing to worry about that because it's going to be one hell of a match. And NWS Revolution, and then Joe Galli says he is looking forward to General Jerry versus Cody Mercer for the World Heavyweight Championship match at RevolutionMania 7. It's going to be one hell of a match. You can't wait to cover it. Along with me, Dan Lambert. Joe Galli says we are out of time. Good night, everybody. As I thank the fans for coming, and the show ends with General Jerry and World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer having a stare down. And I would rate this Revolution Impact at the Revolution Rumble 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, way up, a solid 10 out of 10, and 8 triple plus. What about you, Joe Galli? I agree with you, Dan Lambert. I would rate Revolution Impact 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, way up, a solid 10 out of 10, and an 8 triple plus. General Jerry versus Cody Mercer for the World Heavyweight Championship. That match screams. Says General Jerry versus Cody Mercer for the World Heavyweight Championship match of RevolutionMania 7. That is definitely RevolutionMania. That match screams money. It's gonna be one hell match. Who is gonna win? What's gonna happen? Anyway, you all have a good night, and thank you for watching. Next week, Michael Cole will do the Revolution Impact reveal. Good night, everybody. And you all take care of yourselves, and see you next week on Revolution Impact. Joe Galli and Dan Lambert out.